We're going to be reading in Kabbalah for the Student, page 403, Concealment and Disclosure of the Face of the Creator. Well, in Hebrew, there are two versions, so there may be some changes, but in English, Concealment and Disclosure of the Face of the Creator. In Hebrew, it's the first version.
Shalom.
Hello everyone. We are in a special lesson on the topic of the perception of reality. We're going to be reading in Kabbalah for the Student, page 403, Concealment and Disclosure of the Face of the Creator. One is a special lesson on the topic of the perception of reality.
First of all, I'd like to ask, are there any questions or perhaps impressions from the earlier lesson in the morning? Anyone has some question or anything to add? Yeah. Yes, Gilad?
I don't know why, but from the lesson it's clear to me that it's not clear to me what the 10 is, suddenly. It became clear from the lesson.
Before that, yes.
Before that, yes. Every time it comes and goes, but here it was really clear that it's not clear. Because...
Why?
Because the whole lesson emphasized, at least that's what I heard, that the whole perception of reality is entering only through the 10. And we've been talking about it, it's true, for many years. But here it became clear that this concept 10 is unclear.
In truth, the concept of the 10 is spiritual. It's not people, it's not friends. It's a spiritual concept that's built from above by the specific force called the light that reforms. And I receive it as something that comes just like a gift from above. And with the help of that force, I discover something new. That there's such a connection between different desires called a 10. Or Partzuf, or Havaya. And so, when I'm included in that concept, in a will to bestow with devotedly, I then begin to look for the form of the Creator in it. In what connections with the components of the 10 do I need to be, so that these connections, these types, these kinds of connections will lead me to feel the Creator as a partner on the other hand, and the 10 is like the system that connects us. So it's me on the one side, the Creator on the other end, and the 10 in the middle. Otherwise we can't connect. And from that moment on, everything that I receive from the Creator is through the 10. Everything that I communicate to the Creator is through the 10. And so we have this bidirectional communication. And this concept of the 10 becomes broader and stronger, and it takes on different nuances by which I further discover the Creator and His influence upon me, and how I can further identify with Him and elevate our connection, especially in quality. That's the 10. Now, in order to come to that, I have to do several actions. And the actions are corporeal actions. Friends, lessons, meals, studying, disseminating, everything there is. Kabbalists tell me about this, and that's what we should do. So, it's not the 10 that you're depicting in front of you right now as 10 friends, even though they are what you have in front of you and you have to work with them. But that concept of the 10 that you'll attain will be an inner concept. And the more you invest in the friends on the outside, then you will feel the broadening and strengthening of the concept of the inner 10. It'll be like some sort of a system that, while it's comprised of 10, it's actually 1. That's how it is. Well, there are no words for it, really. It's all about an emotional discovery. Yes.
From the morning lesson, I actually came out confused. I thought that regarding the perception of reality, I was kind of in control, and I realized that I'm actually more confused than the way I entered the lesson.
In control of perception of reality?
No,
nice.
That's what I was thinking.
That's good. It's good to see yourself confident and then see the opposite.
I came out more confused than how I entered the lesson.
So the question
is, first of all, I don't understand the difference between qualities and desire. It seems like something fundamental.
A desire is a raw desire. It doesn't matter what, but it's a desire to receive. The qualities we're talking about are then different forms of the desire in order to bestow.
And how does the intention change the desire or quality?
The intention turns the egoistic desire into a spiritual quality.
But we said that it's impossible to change the desire, right?
What do you mean?
Well, so usage changes the desire?
Yes, of course. Yes. If first I wanted to steal from you, now I want to steal from myself, from my ego. It's a different usage, right? But the same quality.
But the desire is a desire, right?
Yeah, same desire, but the intention has changed. To do it for my benefit at your account or the other way around.
And the intention is a thought, right? Can we say that an intention is a thought?
Yes.
How does a thought? Because also in the will to receive, in order to receive, it's also...
The thought or the intention changes the quality of the action. The same action with a different intention changes the nature of the action.
Maybe I don't explain myself right. What I mean is that if I have a different intention, how does my perception of reality change when the basic desire is the same desire, only the intention changes?
The desires are always the same desires. The desires don't change. They unfold to the extent that a person can control them properly. That's all. But the desires are the same desires. They're all, from the little to the great, they're all in order to receive, and they simply appear to us to the extent that we know how to use them correctly. But perception of reality is revealed to us in several ways. The first and most important for us is, and that's what we need to understand and attain, is that we need to come to the understanding and then the feeling that all thoughts and desires, they're all included in the Creator, in the light of Ein Sof. And we have no desire or thought that doesn't come from Him. As it says, I am first. And our response to the desires that He bestows to us and then makes us want something, that's all done by Him. That's Him awakening these desires. And we, with all that we need, we first need to identify with Him, that it all comes from Him. And so accordingly, to change our attitude to what's going on. This is what the correct perception of reality obligates us to. That's with regards to spiritual work. We're not talking about how we perceive reality in terms of just being in the light of Ein Sof and using all kinds of beautiful words that we can say to everyone. Rather, a person towards himself must understand. If I now think of something, the Creator is doing it. Doesn't matter what kind of thoughts, in favor or against spirituality, it all comes from Him. And therefore, one has to grab hold of himself. I catch myself one step behind, so to speak, that what I just got came from Him. It doesn't matter what it is. And accordingly, how do I now relate to what's happening in me? That's the most important and initial stage. Now, from that onwards, what do I do? Next stage. What does perception of reality obligate me to do? Usually, it's to raise the greatness of the Creator in my eyes. How do I do this? Perhaps I myself can overcome, but if I do, then it's the same ego that works. And it's true that I can do that, but soon I'll see that it doesn't work. To correctly overcome what the Creator sends to me, I can only do that on the condition that I acquire the quality of bestowal. From the quality of bestowal as possible. And so I continue, and that's the matter of the 10 and everything that we learn. And in those things too, in this whole process, I have to be, how to say it, to always be in guard, to always be alert, that what's happening in my mind and heart comes from Him. It's not that it comes from me through some unknown source within me. There's no such thing. Meaning that a person is simply like like a blank page where everything that comes is from the Creator and everything beyond is also from the Creator, and I am like some expert that scrutinizes only that point of being in the middle, where both behind me and before me, He holds me. So that's our work first and foremost. It stabilizes us very correctly towards reality. We rise to a different level of response to what's going on. And life takes on a different format. This is the spiritual work, practical, de facto, the man versus the Creator, opposite the Creator. Yeah.
This means that we always say, you say that the intention rides the desire. If it's a will to receive in order to receive, this is a corporeal mind. If it's a will to receive in order to bestow, it's the Creator's mind. No, it's still man. The Creator has no will to receive. No, the intention to bestow, the intention to bestow, if it is indeed an intention to bestow, then yes, it comes as a result of the influence of the upper light. So the new mind you're talking about, it's the Creator's mind, the Creator's brain. I don't know what is the Creator's mind or brain, what you're talking about. Maybe you are familiar with it. We're talking about men, not about the Creator, not about his mind. I don't understand what this intention is. I'm trying to scrutinize. Man's intention is, what does he intend? That's it. Who does he ascribe his action to? The nature of the action, the end of the action. Where does it come from? For what purpose? That's it. Enough. Yes. What does it mean to overcome with the sublimity of the Creator due to the ego? And what is it to overcome due to bestow, for the sake of bestowal? You said to overcome not because of the ego. When something comes to you and you have to overcome it and add the sublimity, the greatness of the Creator, but not because of the ego. You need to do it, rather for the sake of bestow. What are these two states? This depends on what are you overcoming with. If a person correctly deciphers his situation, he sees that each and every state that comes shows him how much now he has a possibility to add in adhesion. Other than that, there is no other action from the Creator other than to invite man to adhesion. And here certainly a person has no action that he can do by himself. Rather, as the Creator invited this action, now the person has to invite from the Creator forces that will carry out this action. Our work is not to carry out the action itself, rather to invite forces that will finish the work, will carry out the action. That's the right way. Otherwise, one only increases his ego and he's going in the opposite direction. Yes. Please tell me, how do I give him great gratitude to there is none else besides him through the 10?
The Creator's desire is to appear in us, and we're coming closer to discovering Him in actuality, and that is the gratitude. There's no greater pleasure for the Creator but to be revealed to the created beings, so they feel His action, His operation is good that does good, and there's none else besides Him for everyone, even the worst possible actions that they feel, it's all coming from a desire to do good. So by that, by making the place for the revelation of the Creator, you bring Him contentment. There's no other way to do anything that, say, will be liked in His eyes.
But a spiritual place, the first spiritual place, is the 10. How do I give gratitude through the 10? How do I include the friends inside of me and through them?
Your efforts to prepare a place for His revelation in order to bring Him contentment, that's it. There's no more than that.
Thank you.
More? Yes.
You mentioned towards the end of the lesson that we need to work with there's none else besides Him, but not superficially. Can you explain what you meant?
I don't remember. I don't know what it was about. Not superficially, none else besides Him means not just to say none else besides Him, but that we need to interpret none else besides Him in all the incidents, in all the situations, regarding the different incidents and cases that we're in.
Can I say that this expert point that we talked about belongs to me?
Of course.
So this is the only thing that actually belongs to me.
Right.
Other than that, nothing.
Only that expert point, as you said, is what belongs to me. Yeah. All the rest is the Creator. Yeah.
Can I ask something about what Gilad asked at the beginning of the lesson? What should be the difference in my attitude to a friend in a 10 versus my attitude to a friend in a different 10?
I don't see a difference. I don't see a difference. I look at it like this. If I meet with a person, then in the meantime, I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but in the meantime, the Creator brings him closer, giving him a desire to come here, even once a week, or every day, obviously. Then I appreciate the person for the desire of the Creator in him. I don't relate some tools or devices to the person himself. But the fact that the Creator woke him up and brought him off the sofa and to sit here and hear about the actions of the Creator and how to come closer to the Creator. So that desire of the Creator that exists in the human, and that's why he's called a human, that desire is what I appreciate, and that is what I unify with. Only that desire. All the rest is a beast. Yes.
In the morning, there was this feeling as though you were talking both to, well, you're trying to speak to a single kli, and then every time we're pulling you back, seemingly.
We have just touched upon this topic once now, the perception of reality. I intended to start with that a while ago, and I always stopped myself because it's something very subtle, and you don't grow immediately accustomed to it. The mind has to suffer a lot reformatting itself for the new kind of perception of reality. We haven't really entered that. We will feel these confusions because you're in labors of time, space, and motion that are completely different. And so, these axes are different. And so how we prepared ourselves in the meantime, I thought was sufficient, especially now that we're preparing ourselves for the European Convention. So I think that the whole convention, perhaps we will go through it that way. We'll see. In the meantime, we're preparing ourselves. And many people in the world are with us. So we'll see the response. I don't know. Because when we came to Rome 2 weeks ago, 1 week ago, just a week, okay. Last Saturday? Okay. So I had a plan and lessons and everything, and especially in the very first lesson, I took on a different direction completely that we haven't prepared. I had no material about it. I just felt that according to the situation, I have to give something new. So in this case, I don't know. I never determined that. It's more or less suitable, but it may not be. So what we're preparing now are all those things for the coming convention. Yes.
בנקודה הזאת שאמרת
That point where you said that it's between the creator, I'm the first and I'm the last, there is this middle that I scrutinize.
That you're connecting, that you're determining that he's first and last and in the middle, too. When I say like a piece of paper that you have to cancel with your dvekut, and then there's none else besides him.
What is the scrutiny that I'm supposed to do there?
Firstly, to determine that everything comes from him.
And let's say that I do. Let's say that I managed to kind of get hold of myself and see his actions on me. I determined that there's none else besides him, it comes from him.
If you catch yourself see that there's none else besides him, then who is yourself?
There is no myself.
That's where the scrutiny, the true scrutiny, begins.
What is that true scrutiny?
This I don't know, mister. I'm not going to philosophize about these things now. You will check, you will see, you will suffer for a bit, and then you'll know what it is. These things can't be discussed.
It's like I can't advance from there.
Try it. You have a group, you have all the incidents in life, you have to solve that.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
We say that we clothe an intention on the desire. This intention that I clothe, it's in my head. It's not in my heart right now. If we're talking about stealing from somebody else and now I have to change my intention, maybe in my head I can make this intention but it doesn't fit.
It's philosophy. I don't want to hear, seriously, I don't want to go into these levels. You have to solve these things alone. Where's your desire? Where's your intention, heart or mind? You all have to detect these things on your own. I'm telling you seriously. Some things you will see that I'm going to stop answering more and more. To the extent that you grow, you will hear less and less from me.
How do we grow?
By scrutiny. Inner scrutiny and a scrutiny in the 10. Did you hear the morning lesson? Listen to it again. Or in opportunities you have here and there.
Thank you.
All right. Maybe there are also things we can go back to from the previous lesson.
Okay, so we're reading Concealment and Disclosure of the Face of the Creator A. This is in a Sage's Fruit Essays, page 257. There are two versions. The version we're reading now is a Sage's Fruit, from a Sage's Fruit.
Here too, it all depends on man's attitude, how he looks at reality. Obviously, outside of the person, it's unclear what's going on and nothing's changing. It says, Havaya do not change. All the changes are from the perspective of the human. It's all happening within us. What does it mean? Everything is happening inside of me. Who are the others? The others are a replica of me. Everything exists within the complete upper light of infinity. And my perception is the only thing that paints a different picture of reality. What do I need to do in order to achieve the truth? To the extent that I annul myself, the truth will better and better stabilize in my perception, in my 620 desires and intentions.
Reading in the Sage's Fruit Essays, page 257, Concealment and Disclosure of the Face of the Creator A. Again, it's page 257. First, concealment, depiction. His face is not revealed. That is, the Creator does not behave towards a person according to his name, the good that does good.
This is what a person thinks. This is what a person determines. That the Creator is not behaving well with him.
Rather, it is to the contrary, God forbid. One is afflicted by him, or suffers from poor income, and many people wish to collect their debts from him and make his life bitter. His whole day is filled with troubles and worries. Or one suffers from poor health and is disrespected by people. Every plan he begins, he fails to complete, and he is constantly dissatisfied. Do we have
any questions about that? Clear, yeah? A person who feels himself in trouble, whatever trouble.
In this manner, of course, one does not see the Creator's good face. That is, if he believes that the Creator is the one who does these things to him, either as punishment for transgressions or to reward him in the end. This follows the verse, whom the Lord loves, he rebukes. And also, the righteous begin with suffering, since the Creator wishes to eventually impart them great tranquility. Yet one does not fail in saying that all this came to him by blind faith and by nature, without any reason and consideration. Rather, one strengthens in believing that the Creator, with his guidance, caused him all that. This is nonetheless considered seeing the Creator's back.
Understood? Ask. I don't understand. You don't understand any of it, or everything's clear, and we'll keep going. Yes?
So, what Baal HaSulam says, all in all, is, let's say the Creator sent it to me, in the end, great tranquility will come, as he says here.
If you're talking, speak to the point. Do you have a clear sentence that everyone can benefit from?
Yes, a person suffers harsh tortures and disease, people try to collect debts from him. The correct response for a person on the path is to say, this came to me from the Creator, and following all of this suffering and tortures, the good will be revealed. Right now I don't see it, but this is the right response. There's not too much to do.
Maybe. That's one of the ways to respond.
What is mental satisfaction?
He feels no emotional satisfaction, no satisfaction. It depends on what state and what degree. It could be a very high degree, as a Kabbalist on the ladder, and still such a state may arrive, where all of a sudden a lot of people are making his life bitter, and say he owns a business and he goes into troubles, anything from the environment or incorporeality, things like family and health, whatever. It can all happen. If, along with it, he also holds that it comes to him from the Creator, then there are two things here. You see, either he thinks that he deserves it because of some transgressions that he made before, which is, thinking that way is already a transgression, as if the Creator, makes that kind of calculation. That's one. And two, that the Creator is now giving him suffering, letting him suffer in order to then have a reward. That too, that thought is a crime. That the Creator calculates that way for the future or the present, the past, and therefore sends suffering. Meaning, in any case, he says the suffering comes from the Creator, and that is literally a transgression, a crime, because that the Creator does bad to him, does evil to him.
I don't know if it's okay, if it's possible, because we say
Everything's possible. Come on, what do you want?
well, it's not related to the perception of reality, this emotional satisfaction. You said that it constantly changes.
Guys, ask clearly to not confuse others.
So I'm asking if this emotional satisfaction, this mental satisfaction that comes like the friend described, it comes at some point later on, or is it constantly I can just suddenly connect to this emotional satisfaction?
That too, and also connect with it, come out of it, rise and fall every moment. Sure.
How to create the right connection between all of the corporeal problems that a person gets, and through the 10 and to the Creator.
That's what we're studying. Still, our connection with the 10 and the Creator is so weak that I cannot cope with the problems He sends me, seemingly, so that I can cope with it. Let's say I, suffer problems that are like minus 10 tons, and my power of connection with the group and through them with the Creator is 10 grams. So what can you do? Obviously, if such a load falls on me, what do? I just fall. And I blame the Creator and the whole world, and in this case, he doesn't yet detach from the Creator. That's just a single concealment, meaning that what I get from him is bad, and it comes from him. Meaning there is none else besides him. I can't discover there's none else besides him because I feel bad.
You can discover that it is good that does good.
That's even more. Wait. I cannot discover. There's none else besides him, and there's good that does good. Two discernments. So, none else besides him, he is there, but the good and does good, that's separate. That's why it's called a single concealment. The second concealment, he already falls to none else besides him, saying that it's not from the Creator and so forth. Meaning, we are connected to the Creator through two lanes, none else besides him and good that does good. Now, in single concealment, good that does good disappears. None else besides him still is there. Amnon, hello, you good? Yeah? Okay. Other questions about this? Yeah.
So, this is exactly the essence of the question. A person sees that there is none else besides him. He manages to somehow relate his problems to the Creator. However, what does it mean to work through 10? What does it mean? What does it mean to take a problem that I have in the corporeal world? It's clear to me that I need to come with this to the connection of the Creator, but
through the 10 means to achieve the quality of bestowal.
What do I do? What do I do?
Try to. I have no other possibility, no way to understand what the quality of bestowal is or come close to it, unless I have 9 friends in front of me and I collect them and I gather them and I try to make us all into some single desire through a mutual bestowal between us. The moment we try to turn that whole 10 into a single desire to increase the greatness of the Creator there, to raise our mutual bestowal so that by the light that reforms we establish there the quality of bestowal. It doesn't exist within us. We put in the efforts, and the light that reforms clothes into it and gives us the quality of bestowal. Once that happens, once that quality of bestowal is, how to put it, kind of absorbed in us, once it's dressed within us, assimilated in us by the light that reforms, this means that we've attained divinity. the place for the revelation of the Creator. Now, what's the difference between the divinity and the Creator? The certain form of divinity is called Creator, meaning that she will take on our integrated desires. These integrated desires, they will be shaped in different ways, and that's the shape of the Creator. That's how we'll begin to feel that He speaks to us through these different shapes. That's literally the Tanta. That's how we'll read His code. Everything then appears in the 10 Sfirot. Yes.
I received a blow. Who adds the greatest of the Creator in the 10? I should, or the 10 should do it?
I didn't understand. Again?
Yeah, I just got a phone call from the bank. I go to the 10. What we need to do is what you now described, to raise the greatest of the Creator between us in order to draw the light. That should be the correction.
No, the correction is that you give the money back to the bank. That's with regards to the phone call from the bank.
Yes.
Now, your flaw, if it has to do with that phone call, is that you now think that it's not from the Creator, that it takes you away from your spiritual degree.
No, I understood it comes from the Creator, and I want to go to the 10 with it. What is unclear is you said you need to add the greatness of the Creator. That should be the solution to the entire problem.
What do you mean by solution? That it won't detach you from the fact that it comes from the Creator and it's good that does good. It won't disconnect you from the bank.
That's true. I'm trying to understand with myself how I should work. I turn to the 10. Now, I'm even more confused already. Who should add this greatness of the Creator? They add it to me, I add it to them.
You with them by the light that reforms.
What do you mean, I with them?
You and the friends that you all work together towards the greatness of the Creator in your eyes, and then according to the greatness of the Creator, the importance of the Creator, the matter of the deficits that we discussed in the morning, deficits, that as a result of that, we grow His importance in our eyes.
There is something here that I have a hard time figuring.
All right, slowly, but
No, in the practice, truly, something happens tomorrow.
most important is to differentiate between corporeality and spirituality. In corporeality, you have to behave like any other human being, right? In spirituality, you have to maintain none else besides Him and good that does good.
What do I do with the 10? Only greatness, or?
With the 10, you bring yourself back to none else besides Him and good that does good every moment.
I heard that you said in the beginning of the lesson in the morning that if I bring myself back, it's an egoistic action, still within the same ego.
Do you want to justify the Creator? What else do you have to do instead of justifying the Creator in your eyes?
Yes.
Why is it an egoistic action?
Maybe I didn't hear correctly, but that it still comes from the same ego. That if I bring myself back to the greatest of the Creator, if I find the greatest of the Creator or add it to the 10, it still comes from the ego, from the same force.
Here, you don't need to add to the 10. You need to receive from the 10. The 10 is a means here that the Creator brought you and told you, take it. Why? Because by that, you will be able to attain the quality of bestowal, force of bestowal. And with that force, we'll connect together. Soon. A bit later. The patience. It's not that bad.
In the same direction, seemingly there is this feeling from this conversation that there are two things. There is a 10 and there is the Creator. And they are in two different places. So I go here, I go there. How do we connect these?
The 10 is the Shekhinah, the place for the revelation of the Creator.
I'm trying to see how to correct this inner kind of looking both ways. There's the Creator on the one hand. I need to unite everything with Him. How do I unite with Him? I go to the 10, which seems to be a different place. There I do some action and...
The Creator appears within the 10. That's his place. There's no other meeting place. Even though he fills up the whole of reality, but the meeting place between us. In the meantime, later on we'll understand what the 10 is and who is the divinity. But in the meantime, the place for the revelation of the Creator and connection with the Creator is the center of the 10.
Why is it confusing? Because it seemingly connects it here to a person's life, that he, in his life, whatever seems to him to be outside of his life, the different problems and troubles people he sees, he's seeing a picture that in some form he's capable of relating it to the Creator, but not that he's good and as good.
How, right now, say from the one concealment that he sees, he feels bad in all directions in all his life, and he still holds on. There's an illumination that everything comes to him from the Creator. What can he do about that? Either he now receives more burdening of the heart. That's now the second concealment, and then he falls from seeing that it comes from the Creator. He's just like any miserable person in this world. That's one. Or he grows stronger, and that's a matter of his free choice. He either grows stronger, and by the 10, what's he working on? The greatness of the Creator. That the greatness of the Creator, he already has. But that it's good that does good, and what the Creator is doing to him, now he discovers all the vessels that I need to correct in order to be in adhesion. And that's the solution. That is the solution that a person now needs to find and implement. Then he'll see that everything he had before was just like scary forms, like when you tell a kid there's a bear outside or something. It was like really no more than that. All of this can happen too, even including the phone call from the bank. Some things disappear, some things don't. Some things are solved easily, some things no, because we don't yet know the whole process. But he already has faith that it all comes from the Creator, and he has adhesion with the Creator. Despite all of that, he overcomes by love covers all crimes, and he moves forward. And after he concluded that correction of love covers all crimes, the crimes remain. They can be more or less, but they're covered. And the Creator is both good that does good and none else besides him. Then comes the next moment, a call from the police. And again, same thing, and another thing, and another thing. And the whole time it's like that. Anyone who is loved by the Creator, he shall rebuke.
So actually, now I understand Gilad's questions and Ruiz. So the 10 is actually an inner state that I'm able to enter, and with it I can go into reality. We don't look at the faces. There are no faces. There's no one. Rather, I have an opportunity to acquire Shekhinah, divinity, to purchase it, a place where I and the Creator connect. Seemingly our work is to somehow create between us, for the time being physically, it's a physical state, but to enter an inner state of the 10. With that we can go out and work outside with all the different incidents, and it stays. The 10 are my corrected qualities which I have brought back to myself. Now they're mine. Later on, it's the whole of humanity on the level of the speaking. And later on, even the vegetative and the animate and the vegetative and the still. It will all connect, and it is all mine. It is all me. It's my perception of reality. And don't get scattered. I don't want you to start asking, what about others and Kabbalists who were before? And forget that for the time being. We're incapable of grasping several things that are on different axes. I deliberated so much, should I begin with this or not? So help yourselves. Otherwise, we will have to leave that and come back to it after some time. Yes. What exactly does it mean to grow stronger in the good that does good? There is a default. The default is a single concealment, that one is in some trouble, but he connects it, he relates it to there is none else besides him. There is none else besides him, but he doesn't feel that he's good that does good. Now, what does it mean to grow stronger towards the good that does good? You can't grow stronger in the good that does good by yourself, only through the 10, by drawing the light that reforms, so that it will give you such an illumination that, in spite of all the troubles, you overcome them. We always rise on the ladder of the degrees on top of all of the troubles that appear, how shall I put it? They are revealed and gathered. You constantly have to rise on this mountain of trash of yours, constantly, higher and higher and higher. This is the ladder of degrees. Yes, but what should I feel in the good that does good? You should feel that you are complimenting and blessing over the bad as over the good. That's it. That for you, these two ends, two extremes are the same. And even more than that, thanks to this evil, this bad, you reach adhesion with the Creator. So let's say when there is no such feeling in the body, then you cannot bless the Creator for creating the evil inclination. But I have a desire for this to happen, at least. It's good that there is such a desire. If one succeeds, then, well, it's still just a general potential desire. This vessel of sensation for it to feel the good that does good, it's an egoistic vessel of reception. I want to... No, we're not talking about that, the fact that it's egoistic. So where do I feel the good that does good? Who feels it? How to feel it? If you want to feel the good that does good on top of your the bad incidents that appear in you, and you don't cancel them, right? And you rise above it through the greatness of the Creator, not by the fact that now, thanks God, I erased this phone call from the bank, like Roy said, or something like that. You don't erase it. To the contrary, you keep all of these things, right? All of these bad things, so that on top of these bad things, you can be connected with the Creator. And these bad things, you keep them, they're below you, you're sitting on them. And they do not separate you from the Creator. And also, they caused your adhesion with the Creator, but not more than that. That is, the fact is that on the corporeal level, you have to work with them and to try to resolve them, whatever remains. Yes? This is already the 3 lines, the good that does good, these 3 lines? I don't know. Let's say that there is a person, an individual, he has a 10, or he is working with some 10, and now he received this phone call from the bank, it's a great threat, he feels threatened. So on the one hand he stays and he feels this way and he ascribes it to the Creator, and this is good. What do you mean it's good? It's good that he received it from the Creator this way because it pushes even more to tighten his inner connection with the 10. How is this manifested? By the fact that he now has to increase the greatness of the Creator. Towards them, to give them the greatness of the Creator? towards himself. He himself needs this, because if he feels bad, he has to increase the greatness of the Creator, that even though he brings him such bad means, seemingly, it is all in order for him to rise in the greatness of the Creator. This was the last passage in the morning lesson, I believe, right? Those are the same deficiencies, what we read in the morning lesson, on top of which we rise. So there is none else besides him that he's holding on to it. He's holding on to there's none else besides him, and he needs to turn it to the good that does good. The same, there's none else besides him. And on top of that, to increase the greatness of the Creator. This corresponds to bestow in order to bestow, and to receive in order to bestow, that we'll have later. For us, the connection with the Creator always goes in two lines. So what is the indication that he has a hold on the good that does good? He feels the anxieties from the bank. On the other hand, he feels that he sometimes wants to relate it to the Creator. What else should he feel? He should feel that he has adhesion with the Creator, and all the other things, it's not that it is covered and he doesn't have it. No, it's all there, but he controls them. This already is the middle line. The middle line. I don't want to talk about it for the time being, but we'll see it. All right. Just to conclude this, so it turns out that by the fact that there is a phone call from the bank, then the greatness of the bank becomes greater than the greatness of the Creator. Therefore, he needs to have the greatness of the Creator in order to cover that anxiety, right? Yes. Let's say now he gets the greatness of the Creator from the friends, not from the friends, with the friends, but from the light that reforms. Right. So how does this not cover the bank? How does this not erase the bank? Oh, he doesn't erase it, and he also doesn't want it to be erased. But with the bank, it's the anxiety from the bank, not the bank itself. So if now he gets this confidence, the feeling of confidence, or root, how doesn't this cancel the anxiety from the bank? I don't get that. Because this exists in two different places. The anxiety is in his will to receive, right? Okay, and the greatness of the Creator is in the light that he receives, that sustains him, and one doesn't cancel the other. If it will cancel it, then he didn't do anything. But this is the essence of the arvut, that the friends give you the greatness of the Creator that cancels self-concern. No? Again, what did you say? This is the essence of the arvut, that one has 600,000 friends that give him such greatness of the Creator that he's capable of detaching from self-concern. No, he doesn't detach from it. He overcomes self-concern. He elevates it, because if I get it, well, I get this from the Creator and I get that from the Creator. All of this walking on 2 feet on the ladder, it's when the greatness of the evil inclination, the greatness of the good inclination, the greatness of the evil inclination, the greatness of the good inclination. That's how it is. On the one hand, problems, the bank, the police, the government, what else, I don't know. On the one hand. On the other hand, the greatness of the Creator, more and more and more. Both of them must exist. Yes. But if he's already capable of connecting both of them to the Creator, and the friends in some way, but in us, one is in the will to receive, and one is in the intention to bestow. I get that. Can I have another question? How is it possible that he discovers that it comes from there is none else besides him, truly discovers it, but he doesn't feel that he's good that does good? These are two different things. One is in the mind, the brain, let's say, the other in the heart. No, but I don't just tell myself there's none else besides him like people on the street. It's a sensation inside, it's a feeling. Well, with the brain, it's also a feeling. Everything is a sensation, a feeling, yes. But in the mind, let's say it's the first line, and liba, the heart, is malchut. So that's how it's divided inside to two things. I don't want to open all the cards immediately. It will give you room to philosophize and take it slowly. Shall we continue? Question from the Peter group. Rav, I heard from you that the most important in the work is to distinguish in the emotions between corporeal and spiritual things. How do we do it? I seemingly see that I have a single image, a single picture, and there's no difference there. I possibly cannot answer him because it comes as a result of experience in our work, in the group, in different efforts we make. But corporeality and spirituality, we can divide it in a simple way. Whatever I can do in this world without any intention, I need to come to certain arrangements, to duties, to play Marcel, to have all kinds of different frameworks that I keep with the friends. That's my duty in this world, and we don't care about what your intentions are on this. With what intentions the friend comes and he carries out these actions, he simply has to do these things. This is this world. And it's the same with respect to children, doctors, the family, his work. About that, I don't care about his intentions. Gradually, when he also adds intentions, spiritual intentions there, that's fine. On the other hand, when he comes to the 10, this concept of 10 is a spiritual concept that he wishes to connect with them and find in the 10 such a connection, right? Such an area where he cares for them, and they, for him, are even more important. That common place between them that he discovers is more important than his life, because this is the soul that he is about to discover. It's unrelated to the bodies of the friends or anything. It is revealed through the light that reforms. And this place doesn't exist in our bodies. Rather, it is already a spiritual concept. It's like a flying saucer. That's spirituality. That's the difference. No, you are now beginning to... Well, okay. Go ahead.
A question from Colombia. What's the difference in terms of perception of reality when I relate to private providence and when I relate to the Creator inside the 10?
Again?
What's the difference in perception of reality when I relate to private providence and when I relate to the Creator inside the 10?
How can it be any different? How can I relate to the Creator if not in a 10? What is private providence? And the general providence and the private providence, it's the same providence. However, I divide it with respect to myself. I divide it to me personally and then seemingly me and the whole world, as though there is a difference. Rather, for the time being, this is how it seems to me and this is how I divide it. But in the end, the person later discovers that everything is his kli. What I feel in general, myself and my reality and where I exist seemingly, it is all my kli. However, in this kli, there are these circles, but it's all me. So, divide it into this providence, that providence, it doesn't matter how. It's all according to your desire. That's how you divide it. What you discover, what you see, you discover it within your desire. Outside of the desire, you don't feel anything. You don't even know if anything exists there or not. Everything exists in your desire. And then, according to that, divide your desire to internal and external, Malchut and the first 9. Later on, you'll divide it into Galgal Ta'inayim and Achab, 3/3, 3 lines. Second concealment.
Second concealment. Second concealment, which the books refer to as concealment within concealment, means that one cannot see even the Creator's back. Instead, one says that the Creator has left him and no longer watches over him. He ascribes all the sufferings he feels to blind fate and nature. Since the ways of the providence become so complicated in one's eyes as to lead one to denial.
So gradually he cools off, and ultimately completely leaves his inner connection with the knowledge, not the feeling, but the knowledge that it all comes to him from some higher fate. Next.
This means, depiction, that one prays and gives charity for one's troubles but is not answered whatsoever. And precisely when one stops praying for one's troubles, one is answered. Whenever he overcomes, believes in providence, and makes his deeds good, luck turns away from him and he mercilessly falls back. And when he denies and begins to worsen his ways, he becomes very successful and is greatly relieved. He does not find his sustenance in proper manners, but through deceit and desecration of the Sabbath. Or, all of his acquaintances who observe Torah and mitzvot suffer poverty, illness, and are despised by people. These observers of mitzvot seem impolite to him, innately brainless, and so hypocritical that he cannot bear to be among them for even a minute. Conversely, all his wicked acquaintances who mock his faith are very successful, well-to-do, and healthy. They know no sickness. They are clever, virtuous, and good-tempered. They are carefree, confident, and tranquil all day, every day. When Providence arranges things in this manner for a person, it is called concealment within concealment. This is because then one collapses under one's weight and cannot continue to strengthen the belief that one's pains come from the Creator for some hidden reason. Finally, one fails, becomes heretic, and says that the Creator is not watching over His creations whatsoever, and all that transpires by blind fate and nature. This is not seeing even the back.
Fine. Nice depictions. Questions? Each one of you finds himself in that? Yes, Amnon. What do you disagree with?
I agree. I just want to ask whether this thing could be called second concealment when we're connected in the 10.
Possibly.
Because if I'm connected in the 10, then I cannot be detached because they're supporting me. And then I kind of can't be thrown out. That's the problem, right? Except for bringing contentment.
In what form were the friends of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai when they wanted to burn one another? Not out of love, rather out of hatred. Right? This is the meaning of hatred, so much so that I want to burn everyone. So were they connected or not connected? If they were not connected, I wouldn't want to burn them. What do I care about them? If we're connected, but in the back, then I want to burn them, and on a higher level even. So, well.
So what's the issue here? What's the role of the 10? If, with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, perhaps it's different because they had attainment.
Well, here too, we're not talking about a person on the street.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the 10 that we're in.
Us, I don't know. I don't know what characteristic and what interpretation you give it, what meaning you give to the 10. Here we're talking about a person who has lost his contact with the Creator completely, right? How do we, Yaniv, see? How do we, what does it say? The many troubles. Maybe it's there, yeah. Well, in short, here there's a question. If a person is still in a state where he can say, this all comes to me from the Creator, and it comes in such a bad way, and I have no faith in Him, and I'm detached from Him, does he feel this detachment or not? Or it's like on the street. If it's like on the street, we're not talking about him. This, nevertheless, is a feeling of a double concealment. It's a feeling of a double concealment, not a feeling of a beast. So,
because it's also not the back side of the Creator. And in the first concealment, it's the posterior of the Creator. In the second, it's not even that. Where does the person turn to?
Well, nevertheless, he comes here, he learns, he participates with all kinds of different things, because he knows he has no choice. Now he's disconnected, and all of these things seemingly do not exist in him. He doesn't feel anything, and he nevertheless determines that he is under double concealment. Not the good that does good, and not even there is none else besides him. He works out of habit, like a beast.
So if he has no faith in the Creator, why is he coming here?
Faith? Do you know what faith is? It's the force of bestowal. What are you talking about? No. Maybe he has faith in the sages. And then he thinks, well, okay, the teacher is still here, okay, so I will come, I'll sit next to him. That may help me. Possibly the friends, I'll sit next to them, I'll be included with them, maybe they will influence me. Even in a double concealment, he still has some connection. This is why it's called double concealment, not zero.
I'll say one more thing. I'll tell you what I'm insistent on asking, because I see that people, gradually, there's such a time where people are thrown out when they don't feel the group or the Creator. That's why I'm saying.
I can't do anything against that. This is their scrutiny. I teach and I give whatever I can. I can't chase after them, and I can't tie them. I can only say, these are the conditions with which you can enter spirituality. Corporeal conditions, spiritual conditions, go ahead if you want to. Okay, if you don't. That's it. I have no choice, and that I learned from Rabash. Here, I cannot add any conditions, or I cannot remove any conditions. Yes?
Danny Sandler is asking, you said in the morning that a new perception of reality is a common perception. Does that mean that all the troubles, like with the back example, will be a common problem?
Well, later on we'll see it. Yes, of course. What does it mean, common? To the extent that you will start to feel that the entire world is you, then it will be a common perception. Well, yes.
Rav, why does the Creator give that double concealment?
He teaches you what does it mean to be disconnected both from the good that does good and also from there is none else besides Him. That if not for Him, who is connected with you in these two strings, in these two channels, then you are a beast. And now you're learning about how much you are not under the providence of the Creator in anything, not intellectually and not emotionally, or by any side. And there you are completely a beast, just like everyone.
Hastening time is when we want to go through such states faster, yeah?
Yes, of course, of course. We awaken by these things.
Thank you.
You will need to hear the morning lesson several times. because we will clove on top of it several more lessons, but we will clove them on top of it.
So we can say that the difference between double and single concealment is the greatness of the Creator, and then the more greatness of the Creator you come to none else besides Him good that does good.
Well, let it be this way. Yes, well, we'll keep adding. The most important is to add. You started. Wait. Anyone else?
Sometimes I think that these concealments are not even familiar to me. It's either they're in the morning lesson when you learn, or outside when.
Do you count according to where your body is in the morning lesson, or at work, or in the dining room, or in the car? Or
no, according to the state.
What state?
In the lesson.
Well, what does it have to do with where you are with your body? It's unrelated. Maybe you will attain the revelation of godliness at a time that you're standing in a queue, in a line, in a bank to get something unpleasant there from the manager of the bank.
God forbid.
What God forbid? The revelation of the Creator. What do you mean, God forbid? Yes?
No.
Well. When you now are speaking, what state are you in? Revelation, concealment, double concealment, regular concealment?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't know what state I'm in. I'm in the lesson studying. I catch something I don't.
But if you say God forbid, with respect to what is it God forbid?
The bank.
You are already in a concealment. What concealment?
That's exactly the kinds of thoughts that I don't find myself in usually.
What is important for you? The revelation of the Creator?
Yes.
Even on the account of the bank?
Yes.
So this is still a single concealment? Well, think about it. Okay. It's good when a person feels himself in this state, in the middle, kind of between this and that. Yes.
Is there such a state where a person can hold on to a single concealment when he feels that this illumination holds on to him?
One can never hold on to any situation, only yearn for more. To hold, never, anything.
But if he has that discernment, he has got the mind now, and he understands something's working on him, and he has to now increase and add all the time.
Yes.
Is it something that can keep him in that state for a long time, or
he must not worry about it.
So not to be worried about it, just the actions that he has to do, and that's it.
Which actions?
Just to come to the 10, to raise the greatness of the Creator and all that.
The greatness of the Creator. All the rest are means.
So all the states a person goes through with the discernments of single, double, and revelation are states he has to go through.
Yes, and intermittently, this way and that way. We don't determine this.
So that's where he makes his corrections?
And that according to our Reshimot, what we have to do to correct the soul. This is how it's disclosed.
And that's where he makes his corrections and builds his discernments, and that's basically those four states are...
That's our whole life. The spiritual and corporeal, outside of the body and inside the body.
All right, another question. A person who's a normal person without any illumination goes through all these states unconsciously? Meaning if you ask people on the street, they'll say, yeah, there's a force that governs me. They're not aware of that. They're just...
So he just says so. It's sometimes called blind faith.
But it's possible that he goes through all these states unconsciously and we go through it consciously?
No, of course not. No.
And we go through it consciously?
A person who is not related to the method by which he starts to participate in the work of the Creator on him, How does he go through these states? He doesn't go through anything, because all of these states that he has to go through is with respect to the person's consciousness, his awareness. A person has to rise in his awareness, in the perception of reality, the perception of the Creator, the work of the Creator, to discover what the Creator is doing.
Okay.
And to identify with it, so much so that he is included in it with his heart and soul, in adhesion. How can it be a person who just says, "Oh, thanks God," and that's it?
All right, so if we, in the spiritual process, cling to the 10, the greatness of the Creator, and don't leave it, that will necessarily change our intentions and the inner processes that I go through in such a way that I move from an egoistic form to the...
Yes, through the light that reforms.
By the light.
Yes, it will be revealed in the center of the 10, and there you will discover everything. Well, let's start from...
He writes here that when he's not praying, he's answered, and the other way around. How can it be? The Creator is playing with him like that, or...
How can it be? Ask the Creator. What do you want from me?
It's written.
Well, I did not write that. What do you want? He prays, but he doesn't get an answer. So what?
He writes specifically when he doesn't pray, he is answered.
Yes, you have such confusions. Yes, the Creator plays with him. So what?
How can you receive anything without praying?
I don't know. Look at your friends. Not here. In general. The way that they succeed in life, do they pray? And pass it on to your friend.
In a state of single concealment, the person determines the Creator is good that does good, but doesn't feel it yet, or he doesn't yet determine that he's good that does good.
He cannot determine that he's good that does good, because he doesn't have it in his sensation, because these troubles overcome him, and they take all of his emotion. But his mind, his brain, for the time being, is open to this, to say that the Creator has caused me that. Bad troubles, what does it say there? The matter of fear. Yes.
Much trouble came to me, for there is no God within me.
Yes, it is from Psalms, but in which article do they quote that?
So the Creator orchestrated it, and I believe that He's good that does good, but I don't feel it. Can you say that about single concealment?
If you don't feel that it's the good that does good, you can say whatever you want, but it's a lie. We are talking about facts. What happens in us, in our mind and heart. When I determine that it comes from the Creator, that's true on the one hand. On the other hand, I cannot say that He's good that does good. And how do I justify that He's good that does good? When I feel it, when I'm happy with all of these troubles. This is called that I reached, through them I reached mitigation. There are judgments, and there is the mitigation of the judgments, the dinim. We'll come to it.
Mitigation is after single concealment.
Later on. All right? Yes.
Where do I feel joy if the body suffers?
Joy when the body suffers, you can have it in a person. I gave you this example, the way I ran to the operation, to the surgery. What joy? I had joy. And it's not from the upper providence, from the Creator. No, I'm telling you about a corporeal reality, which everybody can understand. That I'm about to be rid of the troubles, so I have joy, even though I'm heading towards suffering.
How do you depict it? That if I can justify the Creator as good that does good, I really feel joy, but there are problems and troubles, where do I feel joy?
If you can justify the Creator, this already, to justify, not that He's watching over you or He's not, rather, you justify Him. That is, in your emotion, you're doing it already. then you feel, instead of troubles, you feel joy. I'm having a hard time here to go deeper in. Even if you understand it for a moment, later on you'll be confused. So for the time being, think about it. All right? Well, let's continue.
Depiction of disclosure of the face. We're reading on Sage's Fruit Essays, in English, page 259. But once he has completely discovered the spice, one's strengthening in the faith of the Creator brings him, during the concealment, brings him to engage in the books and the Torah, and teaches him how to strengthen in the faith of the Creator. And the illumination and observation that he receives from the Torah is referred to as this Torah as a spice, until it accumulates to a certain extent, and the Creator has mercy on him, and he receives higher illumination. But once he has completely discovered the spice, the light of Torah that one inhales into one's body through strengthening in the faith of the Creator, one becomes worthy of guidance with his face revealed. This means that the Creator behaves with him as is fitting to his name, the good who does good. Thus, the name Good That Does Good shows us that He's good to all created beings, meaning in all the beneficial ways for all the recipients in the whole of Israel, where certainly there is no pleasure and goodness of one that resembles the pleasure and goodness of his friend. For instance, one who's engaged in wisdom doesn't take pleasure in honor and wealth, and one who doesn't engage in wisdom doesn't take pleasure in attaining innovations in wisdom. Rather, he gives wealth and honor to one and wondrous wisdom to another. It turns out, a depiction, that he receives abundant good and great peace from the Creator and is always satisfied. This is because one obtains his livelihood with ease and to the fullest, never experiencing trouble or pressure, knows no illness, is highly respected by people, effortlessly completes any plan that comes to his mind, and succeeds wherever he turns. And when he wishes upon something, he prays, and he is instantaneously answered. And he always answers anything that one demands of him. And not a single prayer is denied. When one strengthens with good deeds, one succeeds even more. And when one is negligent, one's success proportionally decreases. All of one's acquaintances are honest, of good income and health. They are highly respected in the eyes of people and have no worries at all. They are at peace all day and every day. They are smart, truthful, and so calmly that one feels blessed to be among them. Conversely, all of one's acquaintances who do not follow the path of Torah are of poor livelihood, troubled by heavy debts, and fail to find even a single moment's rest. They are sick, in pain, and despicable in the eyes of people. They seem to him mindless, ill-mannered, wicked and cruel towards people, deceitful, and such sycophants that it is intolerable to be with them.
What has changed inside of the person when he sees, so that he sees reality, truly reality? The bank manager calls him, right, and says, we had some lottery and you are going to get 1,000,000 shekels. Not dollars, let's say, but 1,000,000 shekel. You made it. How come? Because, we had some surplus in the bank, 1,000,000 shekels, and we decided to do a lottery, and you got it. You won. Okay? What are you smiling now? Well, what changed in a person's perception of reality when he feels the world completely in this manner? He prays and a gift falls, right? He becomes a little bit negligent, he gets a warning. He is truly in an open channel, a constant line open to the upper force. I to my beloved and my beloved towards me. What has changed? Suddenly the whole world, they're all righteous or wicked, and he himself, his friends are like that, the other ones are like this. What? Of course, nothing changed other than that person. Rather, well, who knows how to answer?
It's the
attitude to the Creator that I always work towards Him now.
Yes.
But it seems like, in the future.
Well, what do you mean in the future? Maybe in a moment.
As it was in the first and second concealment, you said that when there's an illumination from afar, but still some conviction on my part, it's a transgression.
Let's say in a minute you want to bring about the end of correction. Can you? Let's say that you can. What has changed? What changes? The whole world changes. They're all righteous. They're all at the end of correction. Otherwise, what is the end of correction? Right? And this is how you attain Him. This is how you feel Him, and that's it. Because the whole world is in you. Other than you, there is nothing. Only the upper light, the Creator.
So, this is my attitude, that I'm already in the friends and what's outside of me. Yeah. So this is actually the correction, right? And the spiritual process. Yes, please? Yeah. A person's inner values towards bestowal change.
But how does it influence the bank manager?
This is what I don't get, really.
Yeah, as long as you want to know.
Yeah, tell me, what should I do? Really, I don't get it, because from what we read here, I understand that his entire attitude towards pleasure changes, that instead of the corporeal pleasure that he wants to find here, he measures pleasure in terms of his connection with the upper force.
Yes.
So how does that influence the bank manager? And also in history, we see that not all the Kabbalists throughout history enjoyed a wondrous life in corporeality.
Well, what happened and what they tell us and what we understand, we can't perceive anything from it.
Okay, if my attitude towards the upper force changes, and this is what I don't get. I thought that I no longer need the bank manager to come and give me the million because my connection with the upper force covers for everything.
No, you're still in this world. So he's telling you that if you have the revelation of the face, and in the revealed face, in the revelation of the face, you also have degrees. So you discover that, first of all, according to your efforts, you can immediately be rewarded with corrections and accordingly feel the light expanding in the kilim. So, and then the whole world gives you good things because you're correcting them. You're correcting these kilim, they're yours.
But what does it mean that he gives me good things? Good things, isn't it that I succeed in seeing everything as an opportunity for further connection with him?
Yes, yes.
So what does that have to do with the bank manager giving me 1,000,000 shekels?
Because you probably need it in order to correct something. it'll really work in such a way that you will have justification for all the good things, and you'll be able to correct whatever you want.
The question is, will I be able to justify everything, the good and the bad, or will it only bring upon me good things?
No. What do you mean good things? No. The end of correction is when you have the ability to do all the actions favorably, positively, and accordingly, you'll have many disturbances that you'll be able to immediately be able to correct them. Not immediately because you want to get rid of the problems, but because you can overcome them correctly. Yes?
So the corporeal reality, does it change?
How can you feel it as the end of correction? The end of correction. What is the end of correction? I have nothing to add to the Creator. I can't do anything. Where's the bad that I had? Where is all my evil inclination? Where's my friend? This evil inclination. The angel of death becomes a holy angel. I want him to grow and grow and grow. If he doesn't grow any moment, I disappear. Myself, the giver, disappears. Yes?
This is very clear.
Good. Good. That's the end of correction. The ability to bestow unboundedly. But with difficulty. If there isn't difficulty, how am I bestowing? How will I see my love? This is why the yearning, the craving is the kli. The hishtokekut. Yes.
The attitude toward the corporeal world is very confusing.
It's on purpose. What do you think? It's because you're not smart enough? It's got nothing to do with your smartness. There'll be more and more confusions. And it's all in order for you to labor above reason sufficiently. And then when it's revealed, you'll see that you couldn't possibly picture this correctly with your mind. Couldn't, with your intellect. As much as now you're picturing what is spirituality, bestowal, it's nothing like it. Yes?
So is there kind of an indication? My corporeal state, is it some kind of indication of my spiritual state?
Yes, to the extent that you want to create the Shekhinah at the center of the group. That's it. Short and to the point and clear. What?
It's very strange.
Strange?
Yeah, that my corporeal state is an indication of my spiritual one. The bank, I mean.
What's it got to do with the bank? Anything that influences you? Could be your relatives at home, it could be the bank, could be anything that influences you. You're still in a state where part of your desires, we call them a person's body. And so what influences this body? The bank, okay, whatever influences. That's it. Don't call it body, don't call it bank. There's, in the sum total of your desires, some of them are influenced in this way, influenced by things that seemingly belong to corporeality, but there's no corporeality here. But some of our desires are influenced by some of those seemingly external influences. Afterwards, you'll see that it's nothing like it. It was how you depicted it. It was depicted for you. This world was depicted for you with all of these discernments, and you thought they were the real world, and that it had everything, and that it was real, when in truth, there's nothing to it. It's part of the desires. There's nothing but desires. So, in the corporeal desire, what is the corporeal desire? Where now you're discovering in all of your soul, part of your desires, in this way. You, the world, still vegetative, animate, speaking, the whole universe. It's what you are discovering. The connections between them and everything. And you have to correct them on the human level. Why are we talking about this? Because these are desires by which you are advancing to spirituality. Now, when you're in spirituality, these desires don't disappear. They don't disappear. Rather, you need them in order to, on top of them, build your relation to spirituality. So, toward spirituality, doesn't matter if it's these desires or others. If it influences you, fine. Moreover, it's written in more than one place that to the extent that we slight corporeality, these seemingly lowly desires, they're still very important. And afterwards, we learn to appreciate them because they really influence our progress. And the whole thing is that we have to attain the end of correction while living in this world. The hitkalelut of the souls is something we'll still talk about, but that's the way it is. That we have to attain the whole ladder of degrees while standing here. Yes.
This is another way to look at the world, that the world's inside the person or outside. And Bala Sulam, he was ill and he suffered, and he said, I don't care where you bury my sack of bones because probably the world disappears along with him. But at the very same time, he was very concerned that all the books and other things that he writes will remain in this world. So how should what's the right way to look at things?
I don't know. Everyone should look at it. All who fault in their own defects. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want and I can't tell you. Because you need to cook in this alone. It's not university where I can give you the solution and you write it down in your notebook and that's it, you know. Because afterwards you work with material machines and you begin to do something there. Here, it's something you have to attain by yourself, because otherwise you won't have the tools to use them correctly. Yes, Sasha.
Timo from the Peter Group is asking, okay, obviously it's not enough to simply come to the morning lesson and do whatever you do in order to get out of the double concealment. So what are the efforts that I have to do in the 10 in order to get out of the state of the double concealment?
About corporeal things, it's clear to him. The morning lesson, the duties, masel, tithing, yes. You want to be married, after all. What else do we have? Dissemination. Now in the group, in the 10. What efforts he needs to make? Send him the 20, your 20 items. What, are we going to repeat those? That same tune again? Okay. Oh well, okay.
What
is the state he writes about that the Creator has pity on him?
That's how it seems to him, that the Creator has mercy on him. And it's written, he will not quarrel forever. So he has mercy on him and he opens up before him another chance to get closer and take interest. He awakens him and lights up some desire in him to come and learn and mingle and He has mercy. It happens. Yes, Gana.
It's
like on two different levels, even though that both of them are important. It's like in the will to receive, what's going to happen with the bank manager, with my minus in the bank, do I owe $1 million? And the other level is, to what extent am I connected to the Creator all the time? So the 10, how much does it have to deal with it and help everyone to look at all the friends in the 10 to look at these things this way? Meaning, to also see the $1 million correctly? Are we supposed to deal with that at all? Or only to what extent do I demand the quality of bestowal?
That's already a different level of connection. The more we are together, and we're not together yet, and we can receive everything that's in everyone together, the good and the bad, so the whole 10 feels like one person, integral person, in which all of the lacks and troubles and the opposite, and the good things are accumulated. In this way, we'll be able to way to consider ourselves in this way. Right now, there's no point talking about it.
But here too, regarding these desires, we have to see how do we relate everything to the same source.
You are waiting for the reforming light to determine for you the commonplace, to establish it for you. And all of a sudden, you'll discover in the connection between you, even when you don't have a real connection, you will discover that some sort of desire appeared, some thought, some field, like a plate. Yellow, pink, something that appeared. I can't describe it. It's very materialized. But it'll begin to manifest. Yes.
He says here that you have to reveal Torah and spice completely.
I don't know. I guess it's the light of Ein Sof that by this reveals the whole Kli.
I'm asking with respect to the influence of the reforming light, does there have to be a certain quantity of the influence of the light?
In wholeness, probably toward all of my corrupted desires. This is what I can answer.
Eventually, it's the light that delivers us from this state.
Correct.
So there has to be some kind of a certain amount of the influence of the light.
It's all according to his lacks that are appearing. Next, I'm telling you, your questions, why are they twisted? I don't know. Yes.
Why doesn't the revelation of the face have 2 degrees? Or he doesn't write about it here?
He doesn't write them here. You have the same way in the reverse. You have the same thing in the reverse way. Just like you have one concealment and double concealment, you have one revelation and double revelation. We'll learn more about this in the introduction to the study of the 10 Sefirot, in the revelation of the vessels of bestowal and the vessels of reception in order to bestow. In order to
revelation and the vessels of reception means that both corporeally I feel good and I'm also in touch with the Creator.
He told you, he wrote it. He wrote this for you.
Meaning, that's the description of that 2nd degree.
Yes, yes. Because revealing the 1st degree is only, it's still, there still isn't pleasure in revealing the Creator. He returns to a state where there is none else besides him, but there still isn't he is good and does good, because he hasn't found that he is good and does good in the vessels of reception. It's exactly in the reverse order. Okay? Good. Yes?
My love towards the Creator is expressed in me thanking Him for Him increasing my ego and the sense of rejection that I feel.
It depends on how you feel, the helpmate against him. If you're feeling that without it, you can't advance. Perhaps sometimes you feel like you're in a state where you're between heaven and earth. Nothing's moving, not this way, not that way, not this way or that way. And you're saying, I wish some trouble came and shook me up, at least. Does it happen?
It does.
It happens, you see? But it's not good.
It's not good, but it takes time until you come to the conclusion that you have to thank Him for it.
Yes, you need to reveal the troubles through the light. To bring the light first. Bring the labor first. And then when the troubles come, you accept them as a place of work. When it came to you as provision.
This is what makes Him merciful by increasing the recognition of evil, your recognition.
Yes. Yes, you bring the medicine before the illness. So we're going to continue with what? There's nothing here in the Zohar about the perception of reality. Do you have the Zohar? So open it up. 476. 476. Let's, it's just one page.
We're reading Zohar, item
ספר זוהר לעם,
Zohar for All, volume 12, chosen passages regarding the perception of reality. Item
במעשה בראשית נברא שורש העתיד לבוא.
Okay.
Just read through. 174. And God saw all that He did. Did He not see it before He did it? Because it is written, and God saw all that He did. It means that He saw only after He did. But the Creator saw everything, both what He did and also before He did it. But the text tells us that He saw all the future generations and everything that will be renewed in the world in every generation, even before they came to the world. The writing which He did is all of the work of creation. Because in the work of creation, the foundation and root of everything that will come and be renewed in the world was created. Hence, the Creator saw even before it was, and placed everything in the work of creation. Because the work of creation is the foundation and basis of everything that will come in the future, the Creator included in them to see all that is destined to come in the world in all the generations. Because the words, and to say unto Zion, you are my people, means you are with me in partnership. I started the worlds, and you will finish them. Because the Lord corrected the whole of reality in a way that people can complete the correction. And because the end of correction was left for people, therefore they are partners in creation. For this reason, there are two discernments of heaven and earth. One, that which the emanator has already corrected, and this is called the work of creation. Two, the new heaven and earth that will be revealed after the end of correction. As it is written, the new heaven and the new earth which I do.
The question is, why do we not reveal that we are in this world? that it only seems to us that the world exists, that it doesn't really exist. There's only the light of Ein Sof upon which I see the world, and the still, vegetative, animate, and the speaking are my own four discernments, and so on and so forth. Why do we not reveal the truth on a spiritual degree? And then I don't have to get confused about that there are people before me and that they exist and that I have to connect to them and form a group, attend with them, and that we're disconnected from all this by many, many discernments, and until we come to that, what's the use? That the perception of reality is so far and distant until we reach its end, until we reach the very edge of it, like we're doing now, that we're starting to gradually get into it and solving all these things. It's like explaining to a child, this like that, and then he learns. What's the use from all these things? Also regarding children, what's the use of all of these years? Try and answer that. Go ahead. Try and find an answer.
It's part of the thought of creation. The Creator created the creature and wants to benefit him and builds him the conditions so that he will discover the quality of bestowal and places him in all the opposite states so as to have his attainment, so that the creature will independently attain the thought of creation.
Yeah,
so he'll know how to appreciate the benefit the Creator has to give him, so it won't be something that he receives for free, because then he won't know how to appreciate it.
I don't know, maybe the sorrow that's created?
I was
thinking about the four phases, the four phases of direct light. It all begins with the Creator's desire to benefit His creatures, and it had to develop that way through the four phases. And without that, there'd be no connection between the creature and the Creator. The way I understand the four Bchinot, you couldn't understand anything without it.
And this is why building the revelation becomes our attainment, and not something we received or something that we somehow are watching and don't really feel it. It means we're building reality by ourselves, spiritual reality. Spiritual reality becomes our work.
Yeah, when we tell a child different things, this is how we help them develop the connections inside his brain, develop them, to show him the connection between cause and consequence. I think that it's the same with us. This is how the Creator helps us develop independently by us scrutinizing another detail and another one, and like the friends just said, this is how we build our reality.
The Zohar does not speak of corporeal matters. 139. The Zohar does not speak of corporeal matters at all, but of upper worlds, where there is no order of time as it is in corporeality. And spiritual times are explained by changing forms and degrees which are above place and time.
There is a reality in which we exist in time, space, motion. These are the desires that were given to us in the feeling of the intention in order to receive, until we attain the intention in order to bestow, or the quality of bestowal. So in the meantime, we live in the intention in order to receive. What's the use? What are we getting out of it? That we can approach spirituality, meaning the intention in order to bestow, that we can find some kind of contact with the Creator, developing our intention, our inclination, so that our contact with the Creator will be felt as something that we have attained independently. But the wisdom of Kabbalah as a whole doesn't talk about the corporeal states at all, meaning how to work with the will to receive without the intention to bestow doesn't talk about it. The Chassids talk about it, about these different forms of work as that we're only preparing ourselves, but really, the wisdom of Kabbalah, it's only about the light, the masach, where there's the tzimtzum, the masach, the desire that a person works in equalizing his desire by the masach with the upper light. So this is clear, right? No questions.
Imaginary form and spiritual form. 17. Which you show. You is the mirror that does not illuminate, Malchut, which showed him within it all those forms. And Moshe saw everything in its corrected form, as one who sees within a glass lamp and within a mirror that shows all the forms. When Moses looked in them, it was difficult for him, because within Malchut, everything stood in its spiritual form. But every form equalized its form with the imaginary form in this world, in the tabernacle. It turns out that in everything, two forms appeared, the spiritual and the imaginary. Hence, Moses was perplexed in them, for he didn't know which one to perceive. The Creator told him, "You with your signs, and I with my signs." Moses will perceive the imaginary signs in everything, and the Creator perceives the spiritual signs in everything. And then the spiritual form lies over the imaginary form, and then Moses was settled in all the work of the tabernacle. Godliness is above time. 297. The collective of all things, Atik de Atikin and Zeranpin, it's all one in their essence, and it's all above time with respect to their essence. Where past, present, and future are all equal in them, and everything is in the present, and everything is in the past, and everything is in the future, since there is no state of before or after in divinity. In godliness, there is no change of action in their atzmut there, like from Rachamim to Din, since there will be no change in the future, and there was no change in the past, and there is no change in the present. Rather, the corrections are only for the lower ones, by which the form that includes all forms, Zeranpin, is completed, which is the form of man that includes male and female. It is a depiction that includes all the names, since Zeranpin is called Havaya, which is the name that includes all the names. The form in which all the forms are seen. It is not really a form, but only the likeness of one. The degrees are only with respect to the lower ones. Everything is godliness, above time, place, and change. All the degrees and corrections that we discern in godliness are only types of concealments and coverings with respect to the lower ones, because 10 sfirot are 10 types of covers on his atzmut, essence, and all the imaginary images of time and place and actions are all types of covers over his godliness, which seem that way to the eyes of the lower ones. And as one is not impressed or changed by all of these covers in which he is covered, for only his friends are impressed by his disappearance or appearance, likewise, His godliness does not change or is in any way affected by those degrees and corrections and names in time, place, and change of action that the lower ones discern in his covers. Rather, we should know that these covers also serve as disclosures. Moreover, by the measure of the cover in each name and correction, so is the measure of disclosure in it. One who is rewarded with receiving the measure of covers properly is later rewarded with these covers becoming measures of disclosures for him. One who studies should remember these words during the study, and he will not fail in his thought.
So, this is what we found about the perception of reality in the meantime. There are other things too, but we'll see later what can we add to this part in the Zohar. Right. You want to ask about this? What?
What does it mean that the Torah has a beginning and end if he says there's no time in spirituality? I'm not talking about time in seconds, but time in changes.
It's all with respect to the person himself, with respect to his perception. You can ask, if there's a difference between the states, then it means that there is time. I don't know if time means change in the states.
But he says there aren't even changes.
Okay, so if I'm even saying that there are no changes, then there are no changes towards whom? Towards the person. There are changes. We see in all of the Kabbalistic writings, they talk about change. They talk about what changes in a person's perception. If the perception changes, it's a sign that, yes, but in spirituality there's no time, meaning there's no corporeal time, but there is spiritual time, which is the number of changes that the Kli has to go through in order to achieve equivalence of form with the Creator. If so, then 125 degrees, you can also say that that's time too. Meaning the number of changes that you have to do, this means spiritual time. This is the concept of spiritual time, and we also read about it in the first part of Istaklut Pnimit in Tes.
A person who goes into bestowal and discovers the whole Torah at the smallest level, or does he discover a part?
How does he reveal all of the Torah on the smallest degree?
Because there's no time.
So what is the smallest degree then?
That's what I'm asking. There's Bereshit, Genesis, and all the chapters and all that.
Here you're asking something else. Does he reveal the Torah according to the way it's written? Right?
Yes.
The way Moses wrote it, right?
It doesn't matter. Book of Zohar, there's the beginning and the end to every book.
Yeah, beginning and end. We're moving on to